start off, and then I'll open it up for questions.
Okay, just a quick recap of our last game. I thought our defense did some good things. I think we played a solid game. The thing that stands out is getting the turnovers in the red zone. That was really big. We focused on that. Offensively had a lot of yards, but it didn't equate to points. 13 points is not good enough to win. We've got to start scoring in the red zone. But overall, we did some good things in the game. You look at the big picture now, we're halfway through the season. We went 3-3 in the first half. It's a new half. It's a new start, and that's the way we're looking at it. We're playing a team, top 10 team in the country right now, Iowa State. You watch them on film, very impressed in all three phases. Their head coach is one of the better head coaches in the country. You look at their defense, they're number 5 in the country, I think, in points. They play an odd front, similar to what we saw last week. They have a lot of veteran guys. I mean, when you look at their roster, a lot of these guys have played a lot of football. They know their answers. Their run fits are very impressive, and they're a physical team offensively. They control the clock. They do a good job with their run. Their quarterback is very, very efficient. And they got 2 receivers that both, I think, have 500 yards. So really a well-balanced offense. So, it's an opportunity for us. We're looking forward to going and playing one of the better teams in the country in their home field. I know it's going to be a good environment, and so we're looking forward to playing them. Questions?
Coach, I know you went with a hot hand on Saturday with Ja'Cory Brown. Is that the plan going forward? Is he your starter this week, or is that to be determined?
Yeah, we're still working through it, but he'll be the first to take snaps with the first team tomorrow, and we'll see how that goes moving forward. But I was real pleased with the way he responded. The moment wasn't too big for him. He, for the first time, really out in real action. Those other 2 times were just kind of mop up. I thought he did some really good things. He gave a spark to our offense. EJ, I thought, did some good things for his first rodeo too. But Brown will be the first to take snaps tomorrow.
So when you say first, that means you're going to play 2 quarterbacks? And
we'll see.
Okay.
All I can tell you right now is he'd be the first to take the snaps tomorrow in practice.
Does KJ Jefferson still have a role?
We'll see. We'll see how that goes, moving forward. Right now, like I said, Brown will be the first to take snaps.
Gus, you guys, obviously in the middle of a 3-game losing streak. How do you avoid losing the locker room? How do you avoid maybe these guys turning on each other or maybe tuning you guys out?
I think it starts with our players. We've got a veteran group of really good leadership. They came out and practiced extremely hard last night. We've got a staff that's very close. And so we'll keep fighting. And the thing about our guys, they fought hard, and we made a few mistakes that were critical at times, but our guys, they'll continue to fight hard.
Coach, this is 2 games back-to-back where the offense has failed to score a touchdown in the first half. Multiple issues, turnovers, red zone struggles. What needs to change?
Well, we had a little more life to us. I think everybody could see that. We had 400 yards offense, I think, and we had the 2 turnovers, obviously, that I think we were on the 21-yard line the first drive. I mean, if you score there, I think it's probably at least a different feel for the game, and then we fumbled on the 5. Got down there, we kicked 2 field goals short. That's kind of been our Achilles heel. I know I've been talking about that for, some time, but that's what's got to improve. But we did with Brown playing quarterback. You can see we had a little more life to our offense. We put the ball vertically down the field, and I think he did some good things for his first rodeo.
Back to quarterback, you've been bullish on KJ Jefferson. Going into Cincinnati week, what was it about E.J. Colson? Where was he on the depth chart to ascend to starting quarterback?
EJ's been practicing extremely well for 3 to 4 weeks, and he's a natural guy. He's a true freshman. Obviously, he's young, and he'll be growing, but he's a really talented guy. So that's what happened probably the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Are you comfortable with a 2-quarterback system?
We're going to do whatever it takes for us to try to win games. So we'll see how that goes moving forward. Like I said, Brown will be the first to take snaps tomorrow.
Coach, the second year in a row where you started off with 3 wins and now 3 losses, do you think maybe the non-conference schedule been a little bit weak, or starting the season off a little bit with lesser opponents kind of gives a false identity to the team, or maybe hide a few deficiencies that you see a little bit later in the season?
No, I mean, I think, Sam Houston's playing pretty good football right now. I mean, obviously when you play your conference opponents and you play Florida, that's a different deal. Like I said, we just need to keep growing, and we need to find ways, like I talked about, to score touchdowns. And so, I think we're in a good spot for the second half to do that.
As it pertains to the quarterback situation, do you consider eligibility as a part of the equation, considering that you had Castellanos a couple of years ago where he had to play and burn a year at the end of the season.
Well, I think we're in a new age of college football. I think you got to be, aware of everything that goes with that. Obviously, we learned a few things, the last few years with that, but we'll monitor that as we go.
Coach, Kobe Hudson has handled a majority of the passing game this season. Is the plan to keep feeding him, or can we expect to see other receivers
It's
involved?
best case for us is other people get involved. There's no doubt, to be more balanced and all that. And so we'll keep working towards that, and pushing the ball down the field, giving our guys opportunities down the field.
Coach, you mentioned the red zone struggles. What have you seen the last couple of weeks that have, plagued into? Is it play calling? Is it just the execution when it gets in the red zone? What have you seen?
Yeah. There's a little of both. Anytime you can't get in the red zone, you got to evaluate everything, whether it's play calling, whether it's scheme, whether it's who's touching the ball, and we're doing that. And that's really been our biggest focus. There's two things going into this week that we've really focused on, and it is red zone offense and it's third down defense. Last week we focused extremely hard on, red zone defense, and we improved. So that's been the focus, and those are the two areas that we need to improve on the most, and that's what we'll spend the majority of our practice time this week on.
EJ became the youngest quarterback to start a game since 1973. What do you see his role advancing through this season and beyond?
Yeah, well, he's a really good quarterback, and he's been practicing extremely well, and he's got a lot of natural attributes, the makings of a really good quarterback. So he'll keep working and keep doing what he can to help our team.
Coach, have you saved some of the playbook, new plays for the second half, or has it been open? Can you tailor it a little more for two hours behind there?
We're going to tailor around our quarterbacks and their strengths, and we did that for KJ. Obviously, we got two, other quarterbacks with different kind of strengths, and so we'll definitely do that. So, yeah, you'll definitely see some new things. That's probably the best way to put it.
What's the situation at center right now? I know Caden Kittler was there. I think you said he got banged up at Florida.
Yeah.
Kenny came in there. Then you started Marcellus's pass game. What's the situation there?
Kenny, he came in and against Florida. We had a couple issues with not snapping on time. Marcellus has got the majority of the rotating with the ones during the during the off season and fall camp and all that. So we just made the decision to give him a full week. He did some solid things with that. Hopefully we'll have Kittler back. Obviously having our starter back would definitely help. He practiced last night. We'll see how he progresses. He was a little banged up. He's a tough guy, and he fought through. Probably not even 100% healthy, for a game or two before that, but it would be nice to get him back.
Coach, at the start of this, you said you want to focus on this as kind of like a second half of the season as a restart. What is it going to take for you guys to have a successful second half and especially get back in that winning column?
Yeah, it's about winning football games. I mean, we did some good things. Unfortunately, we didn't score enough points, but we did some good things if you take away from getting beat, if you look at it big picture. So we need to win football games. And, obviously this week we're playing one of the better teams in college football, one of the hottest teams on their home field, but we're looking forward to the challenge.
Coach, game plan wise or play calling wise, are you making any changes to maybe get some other weapons involved, maybe from the tight end position like Randy Pittman or maybe some of those other guys that play wide receiver for you?
Yeah, I think anytime you don't score points like we have the last 3 games, we got to look at everything and look at what we're doing, who's getting the ball, who's not getting the ball, and giving our guys the best chance of scoring points, and that's what we're doing.
Gus, I know you say you haven't made a decision yet on quarterback, but if it is going to be EJ or Jacurri going on the road at a tough environment and at Iowa State against a top 10 team, what do you have to tell those young guys, when they're out there? I mean, to kind of maybe settle the nerves. It's great to start at home when you've got a home crowd, but to be in front of an environment like that, what would be some of the things you maybe want to get them ready, prepared for something like that?
Yeah, I think the noise more than anything during the practices, the noise, try to simulate everything. I know from here, and I've never been there before, but the people I've talked to, it's right on top of you. They're loud and all that, and so handle the noise. We didn't do a great job of that, against Florida. Some of it had to do, our center went down, but we got to do a good job.
Coach, as a head coach, what keeps you motivated and confident that in the midst of this adversity, 3-game losing streak, and a tough opponent next week, that things can turn around with this team?
Well, I believe in our players. I believe in our players and believe in our coaches. And, like I said, we got to win football games. And so I really expect us to have a really good second half of the season.
Earlier this year, you talked about taking play calling back. At what point is it maybe too much to handle? You talked earlier, a season ago, about handing off some responsibilities. Is it too much for you at this point, all of these guys?
Well, I mean, I think, like we said, anytime you do not score points, in the 20s or whatever, 3 games in a row, we got to solve that. And now we have another quarterback. Like I said, it'll be a little bit different than it has been with that. But we'll do whatever we have to do to win games and be successful.
Coach, it seemed like you guys were able to get more pressure on the quarterback
Yeah.
last week.
Mm-hmm.
How important is that to having a successful day?
That was another focus that we talked about, third down and affecting the quarterback. I thought our defensive line, we blitzed a little bit more with our linebackers. We got him off his spot a few times. It helped with the turnovers. Both of those turnovers helped with the pressure. They go together. But, our guys did a good job getting to him. We're going to have to do the same thing. Now, this is a different offense. They do a good job. They're a downhill offense, and they do a good job efficiently with their passing game, too. And so we're going to have to continue that.
Tim and Jakari were in the same spot last year. How much does that familiarity maybe speed up the process of what he was able to do since he got here in the
Say
summer?
that again.
Tim Harris and
Yeah.
Jakari were both in the same spot last year. How much has that been able to kind of speed things up since he came here, after the spring?
Yeah, of course, he is one of the main reasons he's here, with that familiarity and everything that goes with that. And Tim's doing a really good job, and we're excited to see what he can do.
RJ has been forced to break tackles in the backfield to just get a few yards. What do you have to do to help him avoid some of the contact in the backfield?
Yeah, I mean, people are going to key on him, but still, we have to be creative with the ways we get him the football. And so he can have some open areas to create one-on-one situations. And obviously, in the backfield, having to make people miss, we've got to do a better job in that area.
Coach, I guess 2 weeks ago versus Florida, it just seemed like you traveled a bit more of the younger players. Is that still the plan going into Iowa State this week, or the roster maybe changed out a little bit?
Yeah, if you've seen, we played our younger guys a whole lot more in special teams. I mean, the guys are really coming on and really giving our team some life, too. So we got some talented guys that you'll see on the field more and more, the second half of the season.
Iowa State's one of the surprise teams in the Big 12 this year. They're coming off a big win at West Virginia. Just are there any players or personnel that stands out about the Cyclones?
Yeah, on defense, they got some real players that played in that system a long time. And, Matt's coordinators have been with him the whole time. You can tell that they're all on the same page, and they've been playing that defense a long time. And offensively, they do a great job, with their run game. They're very physical up front. Their quarterback, he's very, very efficient. He's a playmaker. And like I said, they got 2 receivers that when you turn the film on, they jump off the film. So they don't beat themselves. They don't have a lot of penalties. They don't turn the ball over. And you got to play good football. And so it'll be a good challenge for our team.
Their Cincinnati's defensive coordinator, Tyson Veit, came from Iowa State. So is it seeing similar tendencies as you did a week ago in game planning, considering that he came from Iowa State the year before?
There's some similarities, but you can tell a difference that, this is the original, and they have all the bells and whistles that go with it. It was a little bit, you can tell it was a first year of a program, which, hats off to them. They did a good job, but they have all the bells and whistles that go with it. All right, thank you.
All right, Myles, I know you got banged up a little bit in that TCU game, and I know you've been working to get back, especially considering who the opponent was this past week. How excited were you to finally, get back on the field?
It's good being back out there with the team, going back out there and playing. I mean, that's what I love to do is play football, so I could care less who the team was. I just wanted to get back out there and play, so it felt good being out there with the guys, being able to put my pads on, not just be a towel waver. So, yeah, it felt good.
So how are you feeling right now with that knee? Are you almost 100%? Are you working there?
Feel good. Feel good, ready to play for next week, so that's all I can ask for.
Myles, obviously, it's disappointing to be in the middle of this 3-game losing streak. What do you guys as players have to do to avoid having this locker room break apart or to lose guys and who maybe lose interest in going forward?
Well, at the beginning of the season, you guys were asking about how we're going to come together and how our chemistry was going to work. I feel like we're at a strong spot right now, and all you have to do is just band together and just worry about don't block out block out everything else on the outside and just worry about us and get a win. Really, play a cleaner football game, and hopefully we'll get a win.
Myles, I've taken a look at the film of Iowa State. What are some things you feel like they do well, or some things that you guys have to do well in order to be successful heading out there this week?
We just got to play our game, man. I mean, obviously it helps playing last week. Cincinnati's defense is kind of similar to Iowa State. So, I mean, we just got to play our game, do what we do best. So, yeah, that's it.
What is it that you feel like you guys do best?
I feel like we run the ball pretty good. I mean, that's not a secret. I mean, yeah, that's it, run the ball.
A lot of drives this season are ending in the red zone and stalling out with field goals. What has been the talk from coaches about punching it in from, getting a touchdown in the red zone?
I mean, I guess you could say it just comes down to execution. I mean, it's not really – people try to, like, point out, like, oh, there's play calling or scheme. It's just executing, you know what I mean? We haven't really been doing that, I guess you could say. Obviously not. We haven't been getting touchdowns, so just execute better in the red zone, and we'll end it with 6.
Last game, UCF saw a 2-quarterback game plan. What did you see from both EJ and Ja'Cory Brown?
I mean, they played good. I mean, I really don't pay attention to that. I mean, I play running back, so regardless of who's in the game, I still have to go play, so I could care less, to be honest. But they played good, you know what I mean? Gave us a spark that we were looking for.
Yeah, on the note of the spark, what do you feel like from an energy standpoint throughout the week, knowing that there was something different that was going to be playing quarterback? Did it give you guys some sort of sense of urgency, or what was kind of the emotion that you guys felt going into the day?
No, I mean, just went through like a regular week. I mean, what else can you do but just practice hard, you know what I mean? Obviously, there's some stuff that's different with a different type of quarterback. All 3 of them do something different very well. So, I mean, that was really the only difference. I mean, I really didn't notice. So
Iowa State has a top 5 passing defense in terms of yards allowed. How successful is the running game going to have to be going into a tough conference matchup?
I just feel like the passing game and the running game have to be equally as successful. You want to be balanced. You don't want to be a one-trick pony, you know what I mean? Because they're just going to take one away, and they know what's going to happen next. So I feel like both have to be equally as successful for us to win any game, really.
Obviously, Johnny had a rough game last game. You guys are all very close in the running back room. What are you guys saying to him to make sure he stays engaged and obviously has had a lot of success here in the past to keep doing what he's doing?
Mistakes happen, fumbles happen, right? So, I mean, it's not even beating him down is not going to, help anyone. So just let him know, man, hey, we got your back. You're Johnny Richardson, man. You know what I mean? Don't let this get down on you. So that's really what we're telling him on the sideline.
I know RJ talked a lot about playing in a brace versus playing outside of a brace is a lot different. How have you adjusted to that?
I've adjusted really well. I mean, when I was first putting it on, I felt like my leg was heavier. So, but I've adjusted really well. I mean, I've gotten to the point now where I don't even feel it. So,
Myles, back here, you said earlier it takes execution to get more touchdowns and more points on the board. What does that look like on the field, and how would you describe that execution could look?
Just every man doing their job to the best of their ability. I mean, there's nothing more to it. It's not a crazy mathematical equation to execution. So, I mean, just everyone doing their job to the best of their ability, and we'll get the job done.
I know the game is in the past, but what were the emotions facing your old team last week? Was it weird, funny? Like, did you connect with teammates afterward? What was that experience like for you coming from Cincinnati?
I connected with the teammates and coaches from last year. I mean, obviously, it's kind of crazy, this day and age we're in college football. Playing your old team is always going to be weird. You've grown up with those guys, from coming in 17, 18 years old all the way up to 21. So those were like my brothers. But, yeah, it felt good to compete against those guys. Obviously, I'd want a different outcome, but it's good to see them again.
What's the challenge of going on the road? And, I mean, how excited are you guys to have an opportunity to play against the top 10 team, to maybe prove yourself on their field? What do you guys need to do, I guess, to be able to take advantage of that situation?
Like I said earlier, execution, but, I mean, moreover, I mean, it's a great opportunity to get right back on track. I mean, what better opportunity would it be just to play on TV against a nationally ranked opponent, right? So I feel like if when we get this win, it'll be good for our, I guess you could say, morale, I guess you could say. So I can't wait.
Myles, you mentioned that this team, one of the great things about this team is being able to run the ball. But it seems like the past couple of weeks, the teams have been expecting the run, have been loading the box, have been playing it. What challenges does that propose to you as a running back?
I mean, with every football team that's good at running the ball, I mean, no matter if your passing game's on or off, I guess you could say, the boxes are always going to be loaded. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. But again, it comes down to execution, everyone just doing their job to the best of their ability.
For you, what does losing do for you? Does it motivate you? How does it feel?
Obviously, losing is not fun. No one wants to lose in anything they do, right? Being a competitor, I want to win every game, but I mean, I guess it just adds more fuel to the fire. You want to prove everyone wrong about whatever is going on out there. You want to get back in the win column. You want to feel good about yourself, right? Not saying I don't feel good with myself, but I mean, you get that extra like I'm a man whenever you win a game, right? So that's what you want to get back to the feeling.
You guys at Cincinnati played Iowa State last year. I know it was at home it was at Cincinnati, so you haven't experienced what Ames is like. But what do you remember about that team? I know teams change year to year, but what stood out to you last year about playing those guys, and what stands out this year from your film review?
They're a well-coached team. Great. I think the game ended 20-10 or something, 30-10 or something like that. Right. I mean, it's a good team somehow, but from a scheme, I can't really tell you because obviously last year's an outside zone scheme, and it's more of a totally different offense this year, so I couldn't tell you what I'm going to expect right until we watch the film. But great defense, well coached.
Anything else from Myles? Perfect. Good stuff.
Hey.
Hey, Malachi, I know it's been an issue of getting to the quarterback. I know that's been something you guys have been working on these past few games. You guys were able to impact him a little bit more this past game. Some of the young guys got some sacks. Are you guys starting to do some things where you think you're making improvement in that area?
Yes, sir. We just need to start rushing, like stop thinking so much. Instead, just playing with effort. And just getting to the quarterback is really about effort instead of just being flashy with your moves. And that's what Coach Ingram's been telling us.
Malachi, how frustrating is that, though, for you guys? I mean, you've had good pressure on quarterbacks. You've been maybe an arm reach away from bringing a guy down, but it doesn't happen, and then they make a play. How frustrating is that for you guys to know you're just out of reach of maybe making that play?
I mean, it's very frustrating because, you know, like, if you had just a few more milliseconds, you could have made that play. But like I said, it's very frustrating, but we still need to just keep going because it'll eventually come.
Malachi, what are some of the adjustments that you had to make just coming in from being like a third down specialist and then like a kind of a halfway starter? Now you're pretty much playing every down until you get tired. What adjustments is your body mentally like? What is that like so far?
Just the stamina, just getting in shape. Like after practice, we've been doing more stuff to get in shape, so that's really a big factor. And then just mentally tough. Like football, it's a physical game, but it's also mental. So like being tired, it's just a mentality. So once you get past that, you're all right.
Cincinnati had success on third down. What has been the message from coaches about buckling down on that down?
We just need to get off the field on third down. That's really it. Like I believe this week in practice we're going to really start focusing in on third downs.
What do you think the issue has been?
Really, it can be everything. Like the whole defense, like just getting there from a pass rush stance to like linebackers to DBs, just the whole defense all around.
We know that this is a blitz-heavy package team. What were some of the adjustments made in this Cincinnati game that allowed you guys to get some more pressure on it being one of your better defensive performances of the season?
We were running more blitzes where it was kind of like the O-line had to go man-on-man protection, so it would free a defensive end up, and that's how Jamal really got the sack. And that was a good play.
What is playing on the road like for you? Could you just tell me your favorite part about it?
It's just the environment. It's nice to see a new environment. It's a blessing too. Also, like the fans, they're pretty funny. So like, and then on defense, it's not really as loud because the offense is on the field. So like, we get to hear the calls and stuff.
When you say it's funny, what's the funniest thing somebody said to you?
Not really like what they say. It's just like what they do. Like when we walking off the sideline, they'll try to taunt us and stuff.
Gotcha.
I know you're not thinking about last year, but you went through it. How do you try to avoid a similar kind of continual slide? What's maybe different about this particular group?
Just coming together. Instead of people parting off, we just all need to come together because we still have more games to play. Like Coach Malzahn said, we still have half of this season, and that's what we want to build upon.
Isaiah's really taken over your role from last year as a game wrecker off the bench.
Right.
What have you noticed from him just this season?
He's been playing very hard, and I like how he's been playing. He's been locking in practice, and just having him behind me is actually like a blessing too because he gets to help fill in the role, like where he got the sack. It's pretty cool to see.
Obviously, a slow start to the year. We mentioned about the defensive line not being able to get sacks. You know, what's something you've been trying to improve each week? You're now a starter. You're trying to, put stuff good on tape. What's something you're trying to improve as the season goes along?
Just really my effort, just going instead of just thinking. Like I said earlier, I keep thinking too much. I just need to start going, and the effort is how you really get sacks.
We're at the halfway point of the season. Obviously, 3-3 is probably not what you guys anticipated. What's the mood of the team right now? What's the outlook for the latter half of the season?
We're still together. Like I said, we don't want people parting off because that's how you bring a team down. We all want to come together. Like I said again, Coach Malzahn said this next half of the season we still have 6 games left, and we want to finish 6-0. And going into Iowa State, it's going to be a pretty good atmosphere, and like getting the top 10 win would be pretty big for us.
Took 45 games, but B.J. Adams has an interception now. What'd you guys think? What'd you say to him after he got back to the sideline for that play?
We were hyped for him. Like, I'm really proud of him. He's been a pretty good defender. It's just the interceptions, like just getting the ball thrown to him, but he got one, so I was really proud of him. And the sideline was definitely proud of him, too.
What stood out to you so far on film looking at Iowa State? What's gotten them to be a top 10 ranked team?
Running the ball. They like to run the ball, and even if you stop it, they're going to still run the ball just to see if you are going to still stop it. So, like, just running the ball, and then they'll come out, like, with a play action and throw the ball deep. But they're they have a pretty good offensive line.
Malachi, with the offense kind of struggling at times to score some points, how much pressure does the defense feel that, you have to be even more? You talked about not getting in your head, but have to do more to maybe keep teams down to allow your offense to score some points?
It's not really any pressure for us because, like I said, we can only control what we can control, and we're the defense. So we are out there to make those stops for the offense so that they can get another chance to get the ball back.
Malachi, you mentioned Iowa State runs the ball, and run it again. Kind of sounds like the offense here. Do you think kind of facing this offense helps you guys prepare just a little bit for what's to come here on Saturday?
Yes, sir, definitely. Like I said, they have a 6'9" tackle, and we also have Paul. So going against Paul is like kind of similar, I believe, to going against the Iowa State tackle. So it's going to be a pretty good practice this week.
The team's 3-3, 3-game losing streak. A lot of self-inflicted wounds, a couple of turnovers this past game, and 10 penalties. Is there a better team than what we've seen on your side, your bunch?
Yes, sir. I believe we haven't showed what we can. Just like you said, the discipline, like we keep beating ourselves. And once we get past that point, I believe we're going to be a really good team.
It seems like a common theme with this defense: stop on first down, stop on second down, and then a play happens on third down to give up another first down. How important is it, and what needs to change to finally get that stop on third down?
Like I said, we just all need to come together as a defense. The D-line needs to all work together with the linebackers, and also the DBs need to work with the linebackers so that we can get those stops. And also, getting off the field on third down also helps with our stamina so we're not as tired throughout the game.
Malachi, you guys have gone against EJ and Jakuri in practice, I'm sure. What do those two dudes bring to this offense, and what impressed you about those guys?
Like I said, they're two really good quarterbacks. EJ, he's a young guy, but I see in practice he's accurate with his passes, and Jakuri, he runs the ball pretty good, and he also has an arm, so I like seeing that.
Last one for Steven.
A lot of the penalties have been offsides penalties. Are those more aggressive penalties because you're trying to get after the quarterback quicker? Or, can you just talk about those?
Yeah, they're aggressive penalties, but they're also disciplined, and we can't afford those because they change up the offense's play calling. So a 3rd and 10 is a different play calling than a 3rd and 5. So just getting those offsides is really disciplined, but it's also aggressive penalties.
Perfect. Good stuff, Malachi.